I don't even know how to start this. Um, 2025 has been tough right out the gate. Um, I actually started recording this and deleted it. Now I'm recording it again. Didn't even plan on this. It's nothing I've had prepared. Um, I don't know. I guess I just want to share with you guys that's been following me. Maybe it's been on this channel for a while and don't really even know me personally. Maybe this is your first time even watching. I don't know, but maybe I can share my experience with you, and maybe you can get something from this. I don't know. But 2025 is definitely started out rough. It's been definitely a different, trying season. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and maybe because it's fresh and it's recent, time's passed on a lot of other events in my life, I take that into consideration. But even considering those facts, I still believe this is the most trying season in my life. This has definitely by far been the hardest. For those of you who don't know, my mom recently passed away. She passed away 3 days after Christmas, possibly 2 days after Christmas. And the reason I say that is I seen her on February 27th, excuse me. I seen her on December 27th that night. And me and my daughter came in here and late that night about 10 o'clock to check on her and gave her a blanket that she wanted that we just bought her. And covered her up and spoke to her for just a brief minute. We didn't stay long and left. And the next day was a Saturday. Just wanted to check on her, see how she was feeling. She didn't reply to my text. I was cleaning the house. I had the girls to myself. My wife was out. Just giving her a break. She was out doing her thing. And I was busy. I was cleaning. A couple hours passed. I looked and seen she hadn't replied to my text, so I called her. She didn't answer. I called her again. She didn't answer, and it struck me something ain't right. Cause my mom stays by herself. She don't have a job. She don't do anything. You know. So I loaded the kids up and came to her house, and I told the kids to wait in the car. And I came inside and I found her. Found her laying in the bathroom. Looks like she had fell sideways on the toilet. It looked as if she was trying to pull her pants up and lost her balance or passed out or something. And first instinct I did was try to grab her lifeless body on the wall, and I realized that she was gone, and I immediately didn't stay there. I got up crying and screaming, and I picked up my phone, called 911. I took a second, like, who should I call? I've never put myself in a hypothetical situation on what I should do, and I did pause for a second, like, who do I need to call? So I called 911, and that was probably a tough phone call to listen to because I can imagine they couldn't make out anything I was saying. But without going through any more details of that day and how it transpired, that was extremely tough for me. I've been taking care of my mom for almost 2 years. I'd started working part-time, then I'd take off in the middle of the day and I'd come here. You know, Just sometimes I'd sit and talk with her, watch TV, uh, read the Bible. We got into that a lot. She loved me sitting and reading the Bible to her. And I'm not just saying that because of me being a Christian and this is being on camera. I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying she didn't understand a lot, but she enjoyed listening to me read the Word because her eyes wasn't that good and she was unable to read herself. So she really liked when I took the time to read her the Bible. And anywho, I've been taking care of her for almost 2 years. And I took it really hard because she had already been not falling. Because when I imagine somebody telling me they fell, like they trip and their whole body falls on the ground, she didn't do a bunch of that, but she wasn't any of that. She had mainly been getting out of her bed and her feet sliding on the carpet, and she's on the floor and unable to get up, and that happened several times. She called me in the middle of the night. I might be at work, whatever, church. That happened one time when I was at church, and I'd leave and come over here and have to pick her up off the floor by myself, and sometimes that would take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes just trying to get her up without hurting her because she didn't have the strength to pull herself up or much less assist in helping me get her up. Anyway, I took that really hard, not only finding my mama, the fact that she was by herself, and I already knew she started having a lot of trouble standing up and getting around. And as of real recently, in the last couple weeks, she'd been having trouble. She even quit sleeping in the bed. She was sleeping on the recliner because she was scared she was going to slip out the bed again, unable to get up, so she started staying in the recliner. And the last day she was alive, when I came over, I should have seen a red flag. Because she called me and I asked her, I said, Mom, she was in the bathroom, and I said, Mama, are you okay? And she said, I can't get my pants up. So I went in the bathroom and helped her pull her pants up. And should have been a red flag. So that replayed through my head. And I imagined her in the toilet, home by herself, trying to pull her pants up, and her falling backwards. And where I found her lodged at, her neck was pressed down like that. Her arm had reached and knocked the toilet paper holder off the wall, and there was a screw sticking out the wall where she was trying to get up, where she knocked it out, and it had cut her arm, and there was blood on the wall and blood on her arm where it looked as if she was trying to pull herself up. So I see all of that, and it looks as if she was trying to get up, but she didn't have any strength anyway. She sometimes had trouble getting out the recliner, much less getting off the floor. So, I had felt guilty, like it was my fault, because I should have got her 24-hour care, because she was unable to take care of herself. And, Man, after her funeral, man, I spent a lot of time in prayer and trying to continue on with life, getting back to work. That seemed to help get my mind off of things, getting busy. And when I get off, I get back to thinking, driving home, because I live about an hour from work. It was it's all I could think about, just that replaying that night. And honestly, I don't think she died on that Saturday when I found her. I just got this gut feeling that right after me and my daughter left, I believe she got up that night and went to use the bathroom, and that's when it happened. I believe it happened right after we left. And I just didn't find her till the next day. Oh, man. But, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to... Anyway, I've got video footage of the funeral. I actually spoke at her funeral. And, I'm going to gather my thoughts together real quick. And anyway, I'm going to just watch this real quick. I'm going to play where I spoke at her funeral. And anyway, check this out.
Before we bring our message this afternoon, we are very honored to have Reverend Jerry Simmons, Miss Linda's son, to come and say a few words in honor of his mother. So, Brother Jerry, would you come?
Thank you all for coming. This has been one of the hardest weeks of my life. I preached in front of a packed church, and this is probably the toughest I've ever stood in front of a crowd. I believe now, by this time in my life, I'm probably I feel like I am probably the one that knows my mama the best. My mama's always been the most sweetest, kind-hearted person I've ever known. She loved her family. She loved me. She was the cleanest person I've ever known. And those that you know her know that she didn't like anything dirty. She didn't like anything on her floor. And years ago, there was a time, and I don't care if you'd never been to her house and you was just a guest that had an event, you was taking your shoes off before you walked in her front door. She didn't like anything out of place. She loved cleaning the house, dusting the furniture, washing clothes, ironing them, everything that I didn't like to do, so staying with her was pretty easy. When I was talking about being clean, she didn't like anything out of place. When I was playing with toys, have all my figurines on the floor, and if I ever got up and left out for a few minutes and come back, they were all put up. Just blame her on my bad memory. My mama along with her siblings, they've had a rough time growing up, like many others in life. Mama growing up, she been in bad relationships. She made plenty of mistakes, but like Pastor Dexter said, who hadn't? I know I sure have. But she's done a lot of commendable things. And those of you who didn't know her, that maybe know me, has heard me talk about my daddy a lot. And I don't want him to overshadow my mama, because when my daddy got in a car wreck, he was paralyzed from his neck down. She took care of my daddy for 14 years. She didn't get a week off. She didn't get a day off. Her alone by herself, she got him in and out of his wheelchair, a 110-pound woman. She moved him around every 4 hours in the bed. She turned him over one way. She kept him his medicine. She kept his food cooked. She kept his medicine intact. She cleaned him. She bathed him. She did things that most of us have never imagined doing, changing people's catheters. She did all of that while keeping and raising a child. She kept the house clean. She kept the groceries got. She took the trash off. She also took care of outside work. She pushed and mowed the grass. She trimmed the hedges. She sprayed Roundup around the house, and she kept it looking neat until I was old enough to be able to help out. My mother did a lot of stuff. And anybody knows anything about the medical field, for 14 years, her alone and nobody else. No home health, nothing like that. My daddy never had one bed sore. He never had one bed sore. And that says a lot. A little bit about my mama. Like I said, I feel like I could be a good voice for her. I just want to go over some things that she liked, because this is the way I look at it. This is the last thing spoken to her before she goes and is in the grave. My mama, she didn't do much, but she had a few things she liked about her. She liked watching soap operas on CBS. She loved anything that smelled good, scented candles, perfume. She always had air fresheners going in the house. She loved scented lotions, Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret. She was a huge fan of perfume. If you didn't know what to get her for Christmas or her birthday, get her some perfume. Her favorite ones was Beautiful, White Diamond. Mama got to where she just loved just about anything that I cooked. She loved pinto beans and rice. Sweet tea was her favorite drink, and that broke her whenever she found out she was diabetes. So she started learning to like Splenda, so she didn't give up on tea. She always, when I come over, she had the TV on, she always said, Everybody Loves Raymond playing, or Sanford and Son, or the Waltons. She loved little romance movies like any woman. Her favorite movie was Dirty Dancing. Her favorite color was red. My mama, she loved me bringing the girls over to see her. She loved to see both of them so much. One of the best things that happened for her was me giving my life back to Christ 5 years ago. Because when I did that, that had a major impact on her. She was so proud to know that I was called to preach. And she would just tell strangers in the doctor's office. The Lord blessed me with an opportunity 2 years ago. Well, coming up in April will be 2 years to be my mama's tenant care rep. So I was finally able to see her just about every day or any time I needed to. I don't have to worry about pay. I didn't think that was possible. Where I would see her maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and usually on a Saturday or something. It was usually on a couple of hours. Now I was able to see her just about every day. And I'll be forever grateful to God for that. You know, in the past year, Mom wanted me to read the Bible to her every day. I remember some nights, and days I was over there, we'd spend a few hours. One time I spent about 5 or 6 hours non-stop reading the Bible to her. She's just excited. She's, if you know my mom in here, she's, wow, that's exciting. And I'd stop and explain it to her, and I get a lot out of it when you stop and explain it to me. This was the first Christmas that she asked to come over and see her grandkids open her Christmas presents on Christmas morning. She asked me to, and I said, yes, I'll make that happen, no problem. And she came over and got to see them girls open their Christmas presents, and she had such a smile on her face. I believe she's more excited than the girls to open their presents. Y'all opened them too slow. She had a good Christmas day. And I don't know, maybe my family can let me know if I'm off, but I feel like probably in the last 20 years, this was the first Christmas that we had at my grandma's house where the family gets together. Any event, not even just Christmas, where she didn't have a bad day. She didn't complain. She didn't get upset. She didn't get offended. She wasn't hurting and had to leave. Nothing, this was, seems like a perfect day. She had a perfect day. And she loved every bit of it. Grandma was in the hospital, and we was concerned that, or the rehab was concerned that we wouldn't have Christmas at our grandma's. She was so excited to know that she come home. She sent me a text, and I can just hear the excitement in her text. She said, everybody's going to be there. So I'm thankful that I got to spend the last Christmas with her in a good mood, her excited, and her doing something that she loved. And that was to see her grandchildren open their presents and spend time with her family. My mother battled depression and anxiety for as long as I can remember. She was lonely. She felt like she was being tolerated. She felt ignored. And she felt very misunderstood. And to some degree, she was. She had trouble understanding a lot of things. I spent hours upon hours explaining things to her, trying to lift up her spirits. Some days it helped. Some days it didn't. Some days I failed with my patience and let my frustration take over. But I always apologized, and she always forgave me. When I was a child, my mama took care of me. She cleaned me, fed me, comforted me. She kept me safe. So I had no problem doing the same for her. We played together, we laughed together, we've cried together, we've mourned together, we've traveled together, we've done everything together. I miss how she's always offered help when she knew she was physically unable. Here at the end, she'd be bringing groceries in. You want me to help you? I should have just said, I appreciate it, Mom, I got it this time. But I was like, Mama, you can't help. She did it every time. Every single time. Let me help you. You want me to help you? If you start some groceries in. I miss how she always offered you some of whatever she had. It didn't matter if it was food or whatever. She wanted to make sure you was okay, and she wouldn't do without. If you asked her, if you'd accepted it, she would have done without. I'll miss how she always asked about Zoe and Scarlett. How is her grandkids doing? I'll miss her laugh. I'll miss her smile. I'll miss her saying my name. And if you know her, she always would say your name. If she's talking to you, she would say your name, and she would say it several times in a few sentences. Even in text messages, she never replied, just okay. She would reply, okay, Jerry. I miss taking her shopping, going to Walmart, going to Hamrick's. She simply enjoyed just getting out, walking around the food line. got where she couldn't hardly walk, but if I could get her that buggy, I'd pull up front and I'd go get the buggy and get her out the car. She was good. I miss her sitting in her rocking chair on the front porch with her shades on while I was mowing her grass. 'Cause every time, if she felt good, she was on the porch watching me. I miss taking her to her doctor's appointments. I miss her telling me about the old days and what her and her hard-headed siblings did when they was little. I'll miss reading to her. I'll miss hugging her. And folks, I don't want to get too sappy. I just wanted to speak things that stood out to me. This is about the hardest thing. I knew I wanted to speak here today. It's been one of the hardest things, trying to think about what to say, what's the right thing to say without tarrying on too long. I'm sure that it won't be the last time I'll ever talk about her, and we as a family will talk about her. Well, I'm sure we'll share stories and stuff, but y'all, I encourage you today to make time for your loved ones. I'm sure this probably isn't your first funeral, and I'd love to say I would hope it's your last, but we know that's not true. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The Lord wants us to be good stewards. We need to be good stewards with our money, but we need to be good stewards of our time. We need to be good stewards of our love and affection. We need to be good stewards of our words. Truth is, we make time for whatever we value. You can have all the excuses in the world, and there may be valid excuses on some things. But I've used this a lot, and I'm sure most of you in here has too. I just don't have the time. You have the same time I do. And you have the same time the next man beside you does. Go visit whoever it is. Go visit them. Give them a call. Shoot them a text message if you happen to be strapped up at the moment. If they call and there's someone that's lengthy on the phone, we know these people that I ain't talked to them in a while, they're going to keep me on the phone. Answer the phone. Sometimes they just need to hear your voice. Because I can promise you, the day you hear about somebody passing, the first thing that you're going to come to your mind, I can promise you this, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, man, I wish I'd actually answered the phone when they called. Man, I wish I'd have been over there and seen them when I had a chance instead of doing this job and getting extra hours or going to do this little trip or going to, you know what I mean? Yeah, everybody sometimes it's hard to balance time, and it's hard to balance, who I should see or should I spend time doing this, but I can promise you, your job will still be there whenever you die. You will be replaced. They might mourn you, but life goes on. So enjoy your loved ones while you can. Don't wait until they're gone to speak kind words about them. Speak it to them right now. Don't wait until the opportunity is gone. Let them hear it now while they're still here. Don't give them their flowers after they're gone. Go walk up to them and hand it to them right now while you still can. Take that precious time with them, because I promise you, the first thing that you'll remember is the times and the chances that you could have dropped what you were doing, but you chose not to. I'm not saying the stuff that you were doing was a bad thing, but I promise you, you make time for what you want to make time for. You can say what you want. But I stand here today, and I'm saddened with a broken heart, but I am joyful, and I am confident to know that she is with our Heavenly Father. When it's all said and done, she was a good woman, and she had a heart of gold. And one day, I will join her walking on the street of gold. Thank you. So, after the funeral, the next 2 weeks was so hard on me spiritually, emotionally. At work, I was good. I had my thoughts together. I was, uh, you know, getting by, busy. Didn't have time to think about anything. When I get off, that's when the thoughts start coming in. That's when the guilt would come in, and I just couldn't let it go. I felt so horrible because she was there by herself. That's when everything started really setting in. I didn't know how to feel about it, right? I didn't know how to feel about it. I just would replay it and it would make me sad because I was there to help my mama. And I understood why I didn't notice the red flags, because when you're with someone every day, and especially when they're family, it's not like a job. You're not getting, you know what I mean? It's not like this is your mom, or this is, whoever your loved one is. It's not like it's your job where you can't have an emotional relationship with them. Like, man, me and mama would get mad at each other. She'd aggravate me all the time because she didn't understand things. She'd get upset at me because she didn't understand why I didn't come. I'm just giving you examples. Like, you can get upset, you can get sad, you can, man, there's lots of times I came over here and went to sleep, or watch movies with her, or sometimes I just want to, lay my head in my mama's lap, and I just lay down and I put my head in her lap and she play in my hair, But I'd see her at her worst, right? I'd see her when she had these bad times, when she'd go to the hospital. I'd seen when she'd have a bad week and she would complain about not being able to make it or get through, or she'd have trouble doing this, or she wasn't able to hardly walk or whatever. And then I'd see her come through it on the other side. I'd see where she'd have a bad week, but she'd always pull through, and then that'd just be a bad week, or that'd just be a bad day, or just a bad little trial, that little season. But she'd come through it. She's had plenty of these. She's always overcame it. So in your mind, when you're there every day, it's just another day. She's just having a bad day. She's just having a bad week. So when I seen her, really that last week or two, starting to have a lot of trouble. And then that last day I was with her pulling up, unable to pull up her pants when she was in the bathroom. Because she was in the bathroom ago, I was putting a chair together for her that was gifted to us. And it would actually, I don't know if you've seen these, it would actually recline and sit you, pretty much stand you up on your feet, where she didn't have to press down with her legs to get out the recliner, because she was having trouble with that. So anyway, this one, I was in the floor putting it together, and I just happened to notice she's been in that bathroom a long time. So I yelled for her. I said, "Mom, are you okay?" She's like, "I'm just having trouble pulling up my pants." So I went in there and I helped her pull them up. And I noticed now that should have been like, man, I can't leave her by herself. Because if she can't pull her pants up, how's she going to walk? I don't know why I didn't think of that. I really don't know why. Like, what's the next time she can't pull her pants up? She shouldn't be, going to the bathroom by herself. But it never crossed my mind. All it crossed my mind was, I got to hurry and put this chair together. I done missed work for today. I promised my daughter I was taking her to the movies that night. I had all these things on my mind of things I got to get done. It's just mama. Mama has bad days. Mama's going to get over it. She'll be fine. Right? But after the fact is when you realize these things. And I kept replaying it over and over in my head. I was so remorseful. I was so sorry. And everybody would tell me, well, Jerry, you couldn't have done anything. Jerry, you couldn't have done this. Don't beat yourself up. It was the Lord's time. I agree with that. I agree it was the Lord's time. I agree that the Lord was there with her. I do. And I would tell them that. It ain't that I don't believe that. But I would say that just because I'm a good person and she was a good person and we were both, Christian, we both believed in Christ and we know she's in a better place, it still didn't take away the fact that I felt like there was some negligence. And, just because she passed away, it's like people mean well. Really. People do. But if she hadn't have passed away and I'd have found her laying there and she was still alive, what would have been the protocol? Man, all right, we got to get her some 24. We can't leave her by herself anymore. That's it, right? She'd have probably, if she'd have been hurt, she'd have been at the hospital. Everybody would have made sure that she's not by herself anymore because I feel like, she's some negligence, okay? She should have had 24-hour care. That's what everybody would have said. Okay, she should have had 24-hour care. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the thing is, she passed away, but we just want to cover it up. Well, it's okay. You couldn't have done anything about it. But I could have done something about it. So that's what was going through my head. That's what was in my heart. Is I was just upset at myself. Like, I cannot believe I let that happen. Person she trusted the most on this earth, that she loved the most on this earth, was her son. And, man, I let other things being busy blind me from the fact that she needed more than I could offer right then. And the only person who could have seen that is the person that's there with her all the time. I could have got her help, but I didn't. And man, I had went through a couple weeks of pure hell in my mind. Battling. Just, it's so hard, And then when I'm at home and I be with my girls and my wife and something happened, and then I'd stop and I'd look and I'm sitting here, I'm laughing, and I'm like, man, how can you be laughing right now over what just happened with your mom, man? Because you failed to get any help, man. She's dead because you failed to get the help and the things that she needed to be able to survive. She died, and here you are enjoying life and laughing. I felt it's like I wanted to be strong and comfort my daughters for their grandma being lost. I wanted to get their mind off of things. I wanted to be a good father. I want to still be a good husband. Still wanted to be a good pastor and a good leader. And follow the Lord. I wanted to be a faithful servant for the Lord. And then I'd feel guilty for trying to keep on going on like nothing has happened. Keep on going on like I just didn't play with my mama's life. That's how I felt. That's how I had felt. I'm just sitting here playing with mama's life. Boom, made a mistake. She didn't survive. We're going to keep on going like none of that happened. Like that wasn't a big deal. That's what I would feel when I'd pause and I'd look and then see me in the midst of enjoying life and moving on. Then I'd feel guilty, like it's like I wanted to be a good dad. I wanted to be a good husband. I want to be a good leader, a good servant for the Lord. But yet I didn't want to give myself a break. I wanted who was responsible to pay for it, right? And I felt like I was responsible. And it wasn't until my wife, I'm sitting down talking with her and someone else at the table, and I expressed what I just expressed to you. And she looked at me and says, Jerry, you've got to learn to forgive yourself. And man, when she said that, it hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks, because I had never registered in my mind that I was dealing with unforgiveness of myself. I've heard about it. I've dealt with unforgiveness with other people. But I was in this constant conflict of not forgiving myself and wanting to move on, but not wanting to move on. Wanting to get it off my mind so I can actually get strong and move forward and do what the Lord wants me to. Take care of my family. Be there for my kids. Enjoy life. But then held up like, how dare you? How dare you move on with life? What about the life that you left behind to just fend for herself? So when she told me I need to forgive myself, it's like it slapped me in the face. And that's all I could think about then. The next day, either the next day or the next 2 days, I had it on my mind for a day or two. And I was teaching discipleship class. I had a class I was teaching, and I'm on the way to church from my house. It's about 45-minute drive. And then that's all I could think about on my mind. And then I'm about 20 minutes out, 20, 30 minutes away before I get to the church. And I was going to prayer. And this is the prayer that I did. I told the Lord, Lord, I need your help. Because, Lord, I know that you forgive me. You know my heart. You know that I would never. And you know how I feel right now. You know that I have remorse about this, that I feel guilty about this, because I love my mama. And I would never, I would never want nobody to mistreat her or hurt her. I felt like she was helpless a lot, so I wanted to be there for her. That's why I was sacrificing my time to take care of her. Lord, I let her down. And Lord, I know you forgive me. I was like, Father, I know you forgive me. And if my mama could hear me right now, I know what she would say. Jerry, don't worry about it, son. I forgive you. I know you didn't mean it. I know you didn't mean it. I'm in a better place now anyway. I'm not hurting anymore. My soul is at rest. So, Lord, I know you forgive me. And I know my mama would forgive me. But, Lord, I need help from you to forgive myself. I am having trouble letting myself off the hook. Because if it had been somebody else, I'd want them to pay. And I cried and I cried. And that was the first time I had ever in my life asked the Lord to help me to forgive myself so I can be strong And so I can lead my family. And I can lead people of the Lord. And I can love my family. I can love my wife. And I can love my children. And I can be there for them emotionally, mentally, and physically. And Lord, I needed to find comfort. I said, Holy Spirit, I need your comfort. But Lord, I need help forgiving myself. And man, I went deeply into prayer about that, just really harping on that. And I got to church, I dried my eyes, I got prepared, and I went and taught class. That week, maybe a couple days later, but it was that same week, I had somebody come to the house, and they had brought up something. They wasn't there. Honestly, they weren't even there necessarily to talk. They just came to stop by and drop something off for us. But they opened up, started talking about something, and they were dealing with unforgiveness. And I shared with them what I was going through. And as I was speaking to them, I just felt the Lord speaking through me. And what he was saying through me started ministering to both of us. I said, whenever you're upset at somebody, you want them to pay. You want them to, if somebody does you wrong or does someone wrong, you want justice to be served. You want them to pay, right? They were like, yeah. Well, you want them to serve time. So look at it in this sense. I said, in this case right now, you've served your time. I said, you've served a couple years of time. You've been locked in a cell. But right now, you've served your time that the judge has ordered. Now it's time for you to grab your bag with your things and your belongings. It's time to get up, walk out the cell. Let the officer lead you out the gate. They have now opened the doors. You see the sunlight shining. You see the world is out there, and now you're given another chance. Now your time has been served. It's time to walk out this cell of this prison that you've been in. And then it's time to walk out because you've got a life waiting on you. It's time for you to start over. You have now served your time. Served your time of guilt. Served your time of sorrow. Served your time of being put down and not being able to move on. Now that you've served this time, the Lord's telling you to get up and walk out. Move forward. And man, at that same time, I felt the Lord all over me. Let me know. You've been in this long enough. Let's move forward. And man, and nobody got ministered to that day. It was me. And I kid you not, I had not went through what I was going through since that day, since that conversation I had with that person. And honestly, I mean, it sounded better at the moment whenever I was speaking to them. But that was pretty much the gist of what I'd said. I'd never even thought of that scenario like that. But man, when I prayed and asked the Lord to help me forgive myself, to help me to be able to have comfort to move on, He gave it to me. And without the Lord, without me crying out to God, asking for help, I really don't know if I'd be in the state of mind that I'm at right now. I just don't believe it. Looking at this word right here, and in Psalm 34:18 says this: "The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saves such as be of a contrite spirit." So the Lord is near them that are of a broken heart, and He saves those of a contrite spirit. Now, a contrite spirit, I looked the definition of this up. So, a contrite spirit says feeling or expressing remorse affected by guilt. So, of a guilty heart, of a guilty conscience, right? Man, and that, I think that applies, man. It applies to this situation. The Lord is near them that are of a broken heart and of a guilty spirit. I had guilt. And there's different ways of looking at this. So the way I'm going to look at it, the way I've been looking at it, got to be a glass half full. What can I look back and learn from this? So here's the lesson. Anybody's ever been through a situation like I've been through, taking care of a loved one, taking care of your mom like I did, don't get so comfortable and spaced out where you don't see the red flags. Right? You got to remember to pay attention. Yes, they've had bad days, but look at it as if you're not their child, or you're not their brother or sister, you're not their parent. Look deeper than that. Look as if you were hired help, and your main reason is to observe them. You've got to look at it with those eyes. You know, I don't have a nursing degree or a doctor degree or things like that. So that wasn't the first thing that came to my mind. And I know I have friends that are, you know, and that's what they get paid to do. That's what they study, and that's their career. But it's easy to overlook those things. So if the Lord ever blesses you to be able to be the one to take care, when I say blessed, I'm thankful. I am thankful that the Lord blessed me to be able to spend time with my mom. I didn't know even though I could be their home health care worker. I didn't think that was even a possibility. Thought never even crossed my mind to even ask. So God bless their caseworker that even brought that up to me, because, man, I'm so grateful. And I've told you this already, but if you ever watch this video, I am so grateful for you for bringing that up that day. But He blessed me because I was so busy with life. When you got kids and a wife and a full-time job, man, I didn't get really see her but once a week. Once sometimes, depending if we had a busy weekend, maybe once every 2 weeks. But He opened up the door. I was able to see her just about every day. And I'm so grateful and thankful for the time that I got to spend with my mom. And the closer we both got to the Lord, man, I got to look at it in that situation. So maybe even this little bit of a testimony can help someone that might be going through that season. Is my advice to you is, while you're there spending time with your loved one, while you're there, and not letting things get in the way of your judging of what's going on with the surroundings, pay attention. And don't let the ship sail. Get help. If there's too much, get help in certain areas. Don't overlook it. Don't overlook it. Maybe that is for someone. You can't never predict these things of who's going to need help. We're all going to get old. Sometimes tragedy strikes when we least expect it. And it don't necessarily have to be with old. It could be with a tragedy, an unseen event that'll happen. When you got to take care of somebody, pay attention. Pay attention to everything that you're supposed to, because it's easy to get comfortable and just to kind of overlook things. I see now that everything is designed like it was supposed to be. The Lord knew these things were going to happen. And look, I've accepted that now. By the grace of God, though. It's not that I let myself off the hook. It's I forgave myself. By the Lord's help, I was able to forgive myself. I love my mama. I have nothing but good memories of my mom. And I just wanted to share this. And there's many scriptures in the Bible, but the one I just shared with you is one I wanted to speak on, and this is another one that stood out in my head right now. Is the Beatitudes in Matthew chapter 5 of the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." If He said it, I guess it's so. He said, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." And it was a tough season, but the Lord did comfort me. He comforted me with family. He comforted me with friends, brothers and sisters in Christ. I have nothing but absolute gratefulness in my heart from the people that came at my time of need. Nothing but being grateful and thankful for people. Look, we may not always see eye to eye on things in life, but when disaster or tragedy strikes, I was so surprised at the people that came to my side in time of need. And man, I had customers at work. I had people reach out to me that has never even called me on the phone before, called me, and you know who you are. And there was a lot. And I just want to tell you thank you. It means a lot, and it does not go overlooked. And I love y'all. I don't know who this is for. I know it's maybe for me to get it off my chest, but look, man, everybody's got day-to-day lives and things going on. And I might get behind this microphone and this camera and teach the word, but we all have lives. And that's what's been going on in my personal life. I had quite a bit of other things go on too. It just came like a tsunami. Something after something after something after something. It's just my mom passing away was the first of the avalanche that started happening. But the Lord is showing me now I'm coming out of that season. And it's time to look up and move forward. It might seem like, confusing or unfamiliar territory, but the Lord's guiding the way. He's guiding the way, and I'm here. And this is going to be the first of many videos. I'm getting my mind set back on what He told me to do, and that's to film these videos, record them, and put them out. So I don't know who's all going to be watching these videos, but I'm going to tell you, keep your trust in God, and He will lead the way. God bless you.